All right. Welcome back to the weekly roundup with the PSN coaches. You have just the two of us today, Dylan Silbernagel and my good friend Mike Russo. Mike is our coach that runs all of our morning calls for the coaching program and has been doing a fantastic job. And what's been amazing about it, Mike, is Jen and I used to switch off and do that. It took two of us to run those morning calls. And you, my friend, have been doing it on your own for a year straight with zero assistance, really, other than a couple times that you were on vacation. So kudos to you. How have you made that happen?
It's been 2 years, actually.
Jesus.
It's been since 2021. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
November.
point, because just before Jen went on maternity leave for when our son was born is when you took over, and he's going to be 2 in December.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, November is when I started. Yeah, so November 2021, I guess, right? That's when, because he was born in 21, right?
Yeah, December 21.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I'm alive still. I'm doing good. Powering through.
It's a good thing you control your energy really well.
It's tough. I wake up. It's weird. I have a lot of energy at the beginning of my days. Mm-hmm. I don't drink coffee in the morning. I'm a water drinker, so I'll wake up and I'll smash a glass of water. And I'm usually pretty good. Like, that fires me up for the day. I don't need a coffee to get going. I just wake up and kind of get into the day. And honestly, I like starting the morning calls because it gets me going for my day. So it gets me that much. The first couple of calls you make are a little bit groggy. You're just kind of warming up. That eliminates all that, because I'm starting off with that in the morning call, right? So we're getting into it. We're getting into a group setting and working on what the day looks like and setting the goals for the day as well, right? Which is super important.
It's so funny that you mentioned that, because I remember talking with you after you started for a week, and that was kind of almost the unintended bonus of you running those calls, where you're like, man, I just noticed that I'm performing so much better in my lead gen hours because I've already been talking for a half hour. I'm already a little bit more social. I'm already connecting a little bit better. And I think that first few weeks, you noticed that even the names that you were capturing to add to your database from when you were doing your door knocking or your cold calling had increased.
Had increased. Yeah, it increased quite a bit, actually. Yeah. It's just like anything. Like, it's like when you play a sport, right? It's like there's some people that just run right into the sport and then they hurt themselves throughout the day or throughout the sport. And then there's the other people that get there a little bit early. They stretch a little bit, they get their muscles moving, they get warmed up a little bit, and then they typically have a better performance, right? And so that's all it is being on that morning call is like stretching for your day of lead generation and getting you ready for the day, and getting you prepared for the day as well, I think is the more important thing, right? So that's why I love it so much.
Yeah. We always said that we started that because that's your morning routine. That gets you your day set, you're focused, you know what you need to get done. And especially in real estate, if you aren't on a team or you aren't with a very tight-knit group, it can be a very lonely kind of business, right? Because you're just out there on your own and doing it. But when you start your day with a group of like-minded people that have the same focus, it's very easy to stay dedicated to what you need to do and not let the other stuff come in, because you've talked about it, you've addressed it, you know what's important, you know that lead generation's got to be your number one thing, that you're not going to let another day go by where you are just doing everything else that comes up in our business, because we wear so many hats, you can get pulled in so many different directions. But that morning call really helps you stay focused on the things that are important, that are going to ultimately generate income for you.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. 100%. And with that, speaking about making some income, let's kind of jump into today's topic, which is all about the fall market, as you know, and as some realtors, if you're a new realtor, typically there's two great times in the year, which is typically spring and fall, when most agents do their deals. And actually, Dylan, have you guys ever tracked like when you've written most of your deals? Have you ever looked at that data in your own business?
Yeah, there's times where we're very, very front heavy to almost like 70% of the year will come from that spring market.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. And then very, very slow typically in the summertime. And then everything kind of wrapped up. Whereas like when November, December come along, we're finishing off a couple of stragglers. And ultimately we're doing a lot of client care. So a lot of client touches, and then, hopefully taking off some personal time for how crazy both the fall and spring market have been, we try to make sure we get some downtime in there. What about yourself?
Yeah, we're kind of similar, but we're like last year, for example, we were exactly 50-50. So we had 50%, and I literally like to the month, we had 50% of our deals done from January to June, and the other 50% came from July to December, which is
Yeah.
exactly 6 and 6, which was incredible to track.
Yeah, yeah.
But it goes to show you that it is important that coming into this fall market, you got to have those right conversations with your clients, right? And open up that dialogue. And so the way that I always look at it is, what is our goal with the fall market? What is it that we're setting ourselves? And a couple agents came into my office today, and they're like, "Yeah, we're goal setting for the year because their year starts from September to September." That's the way that they look at it. They don't look at it as a calendar year.
Yeah.
They look at it as September to September, right? So they're now goal setting for their new year, essentially.
Right. And now these agents, I'm assuming they're coaching agents that came to you.
Yes, yeah, they're coaching clients. Yeah,
Yeah, coaching clients. Thank you.
yeah.
Perfect. And so did September, what's the significance there? Was that their anniversary date at Keller Williams where we go for our 100% of the commission?
Yep, that's right. Yeah, so that's their cap day. That's their cap date, their anniversary on their cap. So every year on September, their cap resets. So they set their goals around September to September, which is a really cool. I've never done it that way. Yeah, like mine would be July technically.
For those of you,
I've never looked at it.
For those of you that are listening that are a part of Keller Williams or just in general, I think that if you've been around a little bit, then you'll know that a lot of business planning gets done in October, November, so that we're actually ready for when the new year kicks off. And for those of you at KW, we're having Gene Rivers come up from the US to do business planning with us. I want to say it's the month of October. And Gene always does an awesome job. So for those of you that are looking to make sure you've got your stuff in order for 2024, keep your eye out for that one. And Mike, actually on that note, somebody has joined us. I see Jen is in the green room currently, maybe just finishing a little bit of lunch. Jen, give me a wave if you want to join now or if you want to hold off for a second. Okay, I think that was a yes. I should have specified a yes wave or a no wave, but here we go. All right. Well, welcome to the show, Jen. You made it.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Yes, thank you. I was stuck in our leadership meeting, ran a little bit long today, so I made it. And yeah, Gene Rivers is October 25th, I believe, or 27th. I just got the date here. One sec.
Yeah, beautiful. Mike, have you done business planning with Gene before?
Yes, I think he did it a couple of years ago at our brokerage. I don't think it was last year, but I think it was the year prior, or maybe the year prior to that. One of the past 2 years, I think he's done it, and we did it with him, and it was great. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Very impactful for sure.
Yeah, he's fantastic at what he does. So sorry, Jen, I was talking over you a little bit there. What was the date?
October 27th is the date with Gene. It's in person. It's in Mississauga. And Wayne Clements are one of our top agents and a KW faculty. He is doing October 4th. He's doing a half-day business planning as well. So we've got bookended October with business planning start and finish. So you can do a half-day with Wayne or a full day with Gene.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's awesome. I think we're going to be spoiled for choice, and I'd recommend everybody double down, right? Because you never know what you're going to pick up. And one of the things, Mike, that I've always appreciated about you is that through the years of coaching together, whenever you do your business plan, if I need to ask you about it, it's just right there on your desk in that top drawer. Like you've got it bound, everything's organized, it stays top of mind. It's not something that's like, what book did I do that in? Or where did I put that in my Dropbox? Like it is out. You're following it. You can check in when you need to say, hey, am I on track? What was the one thing that I was focusing on strategy-wise? Is that still relevant to me? Do I need to update this?
Exactly, yeah. Well, that's exactly it. A lot of people, they do this business planning and then they're like, okay, put it in the bottom drawer. They forget about it. And it's like, well, what's the point of doing that? So the point of it is that you have your business plan there in front of you at all times. That way, when you need to look at it and review it, you have it right there and you pop it open and you can see, okay, these are our goals. And, having a coach as well, like Jen and I, we review my business plan I would honestly say probably once a month. We look back at like, okay, where are our numbers at? What are we doing? How are we progressing? What's the fall look like? What's the spring look like? We do that all the time because, what you focus on expands, right? And if you're not focusing on it, it's not going to expand. And that's why I do. Yeah. I remember you making a comment about it going, is that your business plan on your desk? And I'm like, yeah. Where do you keep yours? Isn't that the whole point?
And shout out to you because I think that without putting too much of a spotlight on you, I think you're on track for your best year ever, right?
Hopefully, yeah, we're getting there. Yeah, we're definitely working towards it. We could maybe, hopefully, if the fall market's great and we do the right things in the fall market, we can hopefully have a really good year for sure. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I can tell you, coming from our leadership meeting, that the office is busy and there's a lot of activity, and we're headed into a busy market. So, keep doing what you're doing, but also to everyone else out there who's not sure what's going to happen, it's going to be busy. So get on the phones, get in touch with people for sure, because there's opportunity right now to make some money this second quarter or third quarter of the year.
Yeah, make sure that you're a part of that busy, right? All right, Mike, I want to throw it to you in regards to, we were just getting started talking about some goal setting and having that focus front and center. So talk to me a little bit about that, because I know it's something that you're working with some of the coaching guys. I know you're working on it for yourself. So why don't you share that with us?
Yeah, exactly what Jen was just saying. It's going to be a busy season. You need to be a part of that busy. And being a part of that busy is, number one, setting goals and setting a plan in place for that. So number one, I always like to look at it as, okay, we're coming into September. We're already, to me, the months always go from the 15th to the 15th, or to the next 15th. So when the 15th of September happens, I'm now planning October, right? In my mind, October has started because we're at the end of the month. So I always like to plan that way. So we have a solid 2 months of the fall market. And then as soon as we hit middle of November to early December, it's Christmas time. Yeah. So that means that we have 2 months to set our plan, execute our plan, and really communicate with our clients. So our plan needs to be based around what our goals are for the year. So if we're just shy of our goals, okay, how are we going to make up that time, right? So it might be, we need to double down on lead generation. We need to start lead generation. Maybe that's part of our plan, right? Some people don't do lead generation. We need to make sure that we're communicating with our clients at all times. So a great example of that is a touch plan, right? So what is it that in the next month and 2 months, we're going to send out to our clients to make sure that we're top of mind? And some great opportunities that we can definitely take advantage of is the fall market. So I know a great one that you guys typically do a lot of the times is provide free CMA, so a comparative market analysis, where you're giving them a free valuation on their home, right? This is what better opportunity than to send somebody a free CMA that's not even expecting it, right? That could potentially talk them into selling. And I've actually done this. Did this in January one time. I went over to my buddy's house. I brought a free little CMA for his parents, and we sold the house a week and a half later, right? They weren't even like, they had it listed before, but then they're like, we're not going to sell it. And then just in that short little period of time, their home had gone up quite a bit of money, and they realized, yeah, you know what, let's sell it now. That's a great idea. And we did, we sold it. So a great couple of touches that you can set out to your database this time of year is free CMA, a newsletter, which is something you should be sending out every single month anyways. So that's, a nice 2 touches, once this month, once next month, a market analysis. So what's going on in their marketplace. Another great one that I personally love is like in the community. So what's going on in the community that you can share with your database, or what can you invite them to stay engaged with them? So for example, I know at our brokerage, we're doing a great event at one of the family farms local here, and we're inviting out our entire database, right? We're going to have everyone come up to the farm day, pick a pumpkin, get a pumpkin for free, you get the corn maze, you can take some photos. All those great things are happening. What better way to reach out to your clients without having to bother them? Because I know a lot of people think that, I'm going to bother them. Well, we're going to give them a call and say, hey, I have a ticket with your name on it that allows you to bring your entire family to have a family day at, a local farm, and you're going to get a free pumpkin. Not even talking about real estate, just inviting them out. And then when you're there, you're getting that in-person interaction with your clients. That's going to allow you to set up referrals down the road, right? One of the worst comments I've ever gotten from a client when I texted him, and it happened to me this year. It's not like it happened to me early on in my career. It happened to me this year, a month and a half ago, and I was pissed. I texted him. His name was Jason. Hey, Jason, what's going on? I just wanted to check in and see how you and the wife are doing. How are you guys enjoying the pool? You're coming up onto a year of purchasing your home. And he was like, oh, hey, man, totally forgot about you guys. So sorry about that. Yeah, everything's great. I'm like, you totally forgot about us? What do you mean you forgot about us? How do you forget? What? Like, that's craziness. And so what I realized is I haven't invited this guy out to anything that we've done.
Yeah.
And so now the first invitation that I'm going to be sending out to our, farm event is going to be to his house, and I'm going to hand deliver it. That way he
Absolutely.
knows that it's coming from me, and that hopefully he'll come with his dog and his wife as well.
Yeah.
Right.
I
But those
love
are some of
that.
the touches we're going to be doing. And so I don't know what you guys may be implementing into your own businesses, but I know that this is what we are going to be doing, because this will definitely allow us to stay in touch with our database. But not only that, more importantly, stay top of mind with our database. Right?
Definitely. And so to touch on that for a minute, because I think that the farm event is going to be fantastic, like a fall event for the database. It's amazing. Our office is putting it on. And to talk about the impact that can make on your business, our office did this in the fall for the Easter event. We had the Easter bunny come out, we did the park, all that stuff. And we invited a bunch of people from our database to the event. And one of the families that came to that event, we just finished selling their home. So it's funny. It just goes to show like how important nurturing that relationship can easily lead to deals down the road, right? And so we're going to do it again and follow up now in the fall. And as well, from that event, one of the families that I was talking to, we're talking about the need to refinance coming up in November. So in June, I introduced them to our mortgage broker. I just followed up with them again. They said they love the mortgage broker. They're so grateful for the introduction, and everything's been passed off to the bank, and they're just waiting on final approval. But I made something that was stressful for them become so easy, and I wouldn't have necessarily known that they needed that help if I didn't see them at that event. Right? Because my conversation was a little bit different. It was top of mind for them then because there was a rate increase. If I caught them at a different time, or if I wasn't doing my database, quarterly touches, I would have completely missed that, and I couldn't have been of help. But now our relationship has times where I've helped them in the past, right? So it may seem like something so small doing a little farm event, but look at what can come from it, right?
And that's another great example, actually, you just said, for something you can send out to your database is refinancing, right?
Yeah,
that's coming up in the next 1 to 2 years for 60% of Canadians, right? They're going to have to refinance. What great way to get ahead of that and send out an email to your database and say, hey, are you refinancing in the next 1 to 2 years, or the next year, 6 months, whatever it might be? Give us a call. We have great brokers that we work with that can help you maybe get a better rate or get a better whatever it might be. Or if, you get a new rate and you realize you can't afford to keep your home, let's start that process. Let's not do it when you're really stressed and having that higher mortgage payment. Let's get ahead of ourselves. Let's get ahead of that and make a move before that even happens to you, right?
Absolutely.
That right there is another great touch that you could maybe send out in the early spring, right?
Yeah. And so, Jen, I'm going to throw it to you because, Mike, Jen, you and I just came from the ALC meeting this afternoon. And that was one of the things that we talked about as a group. What are some of the things that you can be doing now to get in touch with your database, to add a little bit of value? So to piggyback off of where Mike was at, what were some of the things that we talked about there that we could share with people?
Yeah, for sure. And just for everyone who's non-KW, ALC is our Agent Leadership Council. So it's our basically agent representatives, top producing agents, and we meet once a month and do some coaching and things like that. So a few of the ideas that came up, the fall event was a big topic. I think everybody on the ALC for the most part is leveraging that. I think one of the things was call our database, which was kind of funny and also on the nose,
Just
right?
so
Yeah,
if
you haven't been calling them, if you have Mike, your example was perfect. I forgot about you guys. That's a knife to the heart for an agent, right?
Yep.
And yet he's not wrong, because when you looked back, you hadn't been reaching out. So making sure that you're consistently making those touches. Another example that I know came up, and we've talked about this before, I think on one of our previous calls, was the leaf bag giveaways that your team does. And I think everybody was thinking about implementing that one, where essentially, you go get leaf bags from home. It's usually Home Depot, because they actually usually have decent deals. Yeah. Divide them out into groups of 5, put a little note on top saying compliments of the Silbernagel team, and deliver them to, your top clients and anyone who's bought or sold or referred throughout the year. And it's just, again, it's that situation where you pop by, you say hello if they're home, you get face-to-face interaction. It's nothing to do with real estate, but it's a value add to them. And it's a good reason for them to kind of go, hey, that's my guy. That's my house guy, right? He brings me my leaf bags. He sends me home show tickets. I get to go to events throughout the year. They're there when I need help with anything. They refer me to mortgage brokers. So of course I'm going to use that person when I need to move because they're loyal to me and I'm going to be loyal back. And that's kind of the vision of it, right? Some of the other things from the ALC that came up, one of our leaders was, she's had a baby in the last year and she's been looking at her business has changed because of it, because your life changes when you have a baby. So of course your business changes too. And so she leveraged from doing much more door knocking and active lead gen to getting involved with local community groups, mom groups and toddler and tots and moms things. And 5 days a week, she is at something with her daughter, getting to know people in the community and just building relationships. And her database in the last year has pretty much doubled, if not tripled, with people that she has met face to face and has relationship with. And she's hosting a party towards the end of the month, and she's inviting everybody to that event. And whoever comes, and whoever doesn't, that's okay. But she has a reason to reach out to them. It's not related to real estate. But when she does reach out to them, or when they add her on Facebook or they see her socials, it's very clearly branded that she's a realtor. So they know she's in real estate, right? And one of our other agents is looking at doing coffee meetups. He's reaching out, texting his database, just going, hey, like, it's been a while since we've chatted. Are you free for coffee? I'd love to catch up. It's a care call, but elevated. So now he's not only doing a care call, he's doing an in-person meeting where he's just meeting up with them to catch up and enhancing those relationships. And he doesn't know it yet, but he will get referrals from those coffees. He just doesn't realize it yet, but I guarantee it. I'm going to tell him to track it, because at least 2 or 3 referrals will come, and probably 1 deal by the end of the year, just from him doing that face-to-face interaction. So those are some of the ideas from the ALC of what they're planning to do this quarter to get 1 or 2 more deals, ideally from their database. And if not, at least line up their pipeline for next year, right?
Yeah. You know what I'd like to emphasize on, because it came from the ALC meeting as well, but Mike, you said it, is the unsolicited CMAs. Like just handing out a CMA to those people in your database, and how far it goes, because you're giving them an update, right? This is a potential update on what your home might be worth, and they can use that in a variety of different ways. It can be beneficial for them, right? It might help them with the refi. It might help them decide if they want to pull some equity out. It might help them say, hey, we can move. We didn't think we could, but we can. There's a lot that comes from it, and it's a very thing for us to do. And it's not like it's a new novel idea, right? Like that goes back to ninja selling as well. That is a classic touch point to do to help generate some business. So, for those of you who are wondering what I can do that.
In my coaching session last week with Jen, we were discussing, how do we make more now business, right? What is it that we can do? What are some 3 things that we could do to create more now business? And what we discovered was, number 1, we can ask for referrals. Right? There's always great opportunities by asking for referrals from our database of people. Now, we can only ask for referrals if we're really living up to those great standards that we need, right? So if you don't have your standards in place, you got to make sure you have those up there first before you have the courage to ask for the referral. But number 2, what we found was that sometimes over the course of the year, we get a whole bunch of leads in from certain things, realtor.ca, Facebook ads, all this stuff that we happen to lose track of, right? And so a great way to potentially build up some now business is by going back to that list of people, printing them off, and one by one going through them. And that's what I've been doing the past couple of days, is every single person, okay, are we still in touch with them? Are they still on a follow-up? When's the last time we communicated with them? What was our messaging? Some of the things I'm finding with those people are, some of them have bought because we weren't calling them anymore, right? And they still had a need to buy or sell. And they've essentially raised their hand by clicking on a Facebook ad and saying, I'm interested in buying and selling, right? And by us losing track of them somehow throughout our system, we've potentially lost out opportunities. And the third thing was the free CMAs, sending out a CMA to somebody that might not be expecting it. Some people don't know what their home is worth. Not everybody lives on, the apps that we live on where you can see what your neighbors sell for. Some people are generally shocked when you tell them how much their home is worth, and they go, oh my gosh, wow, that's crazy. Now I don't have to work another year. I can retire a year earlier and sell now, right? And potentially downsize. Like, there's always those opportunities out there that we can create for ourselves.
And at the very least, when you send the CMA, one of the things I love about it is it reminds everyone that you're a realtor every single time. It's such a simple way to remind someone that you're the real estate guy. You send them the info that they want at least once a year and update them on the value of their home as their realtor. So I'm not just transactional now, right? I am continuing to be your realtor even after the deal, even after the referral. And I will still continue to be here next time you need me and when you're family. And that will get you more referrals because we're bringing value without asking for any. All of that.
Oh, we lost Jen for a second. There we go. She's back.
Yeah. That was really good too. Damn.
Yeah.
That was the key to everything right there.
Yeah. If you had just done what Jen said, you would be a millionaire by this time next year. Catch you next week. I love when Jen freezes, especially with a smile on your face.
I tell you where I cut out, but I don't know. I don't know what you heard, so we'll just move on.
I think the important takeaway there is the value of that CMA, and I think what you were saying kind of at the end was it reminds people that you are their realtor, right? And there's a lot of things that we do throughout the year that don't always necessarily get that message across, right? And there's a lot of times where we're not doing things to send that message. So that's a very easy one to do that gets that message out there, keeps you top of mind as their realtor, as their source of information that's valuable and relevant to them. So I think that's a great one. I don't know if there was anything else that came in terms of like, hey, these are the touches that you should be doing. But if you just did those 4 or 5 suggestions that we just gave you, you would be in a good spot. And I think what we started this call talking about was the importance of preparing for your business plan for 2024. But also, if you haven't looked at your 2023 plan, today is a great day to pull that out and see, where am I at? And 2, what were the strategies that I said I was going to employ, and am I living up to them, right? And acknowledging that I set out with this path in mind for the year. Am I still on it and it's going great? Am I on it and it's not going well? Or did I just forget to walk along the path and I'm hanging out in the forest over here, not knowing what the hell's going on, right? Because all of those. Because all of those things will acknowledging where you're at will dictate what steps you should be taking going forward is ultimately, where we're at.
Yeah.
And
I think the key piece to add on to that too is if you look at your report and don't be afraid to do it, you look at your plan and you're not on track, talk to somebody who can help you get back on track. It doesn't mean you just go, oh, damn, well, that's 2023 in the books. Like,
that's a wrap.
I'm not on track. I guess I'll just work on 2024. Don't do that. Sit down and go, okay, is Mike my coach? Is Melissa my coach? Who should you be reaching out to go, how do I get back on track right now to end well and make sure I have some cash flow and some production coming in over the next few months and get that plan in place? Even if you have to scale it down, doesn't mean you give up on it, right? You just have to figure out your action steps going forward. It's not enough just to look at it at this point, right?
And don't be shy about filling your pipeline, because we talked a little bit already about finding that now business. But I was on one of my coaching calls earlier in the day, and even some of the pipeline that we were looking at, we're like, oh, they should convert in the fall, but we might have to push them into January, February. And even if that was the case, if a bunch of those guys that we've already got in the pipeline moved into 2024, our 2023 wouldn't have been as big as we maybe wanted it to be. But the start of 2024 is going to be fantastic because we're coming into it with business, as opposed to starting the year and being like, oh crap, like I got to do this again. How am I gonna produce the same amount that I did last year? Well, look, I've already got 100K in the pipeline based on what I was doing from last year's activities. So I think that's something to be mindful of as well. Is like, don't stress about. I mean, if you need money now, you need money now. But if you're not getting it, just acknowledge that the activities that you're doing will fill your pipeline for down the road. And I don't think any of us are in this for the short term. So acknowledging that all the work that you're doing now will pay off down the road, that's important. When I look back at the refinance conversation follow-up that I had in my follow-ups this week, we openly talked about like, hey, the spot that we're in now isn't where we want to stay, but we're not ready to do it yet. Thank you so much for the help with the refinancing. And we're hoping that in 2 to 3 years, we'll be able to make the next move. So it's okay that that's not now business, because I'm not going anywhere. That's going to be business for me down the road. And it's somebody that I've helped in the interim that's going to guarantee that I will be their agent down the road, because I am invested in them. I'm invested in their relationship. I want to make sure the family's doing well. And all that service will equate to more business down the road.
Right.
Yeah.
I love it.
Beautiful. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining me today, and thank you for Jen. You made it just on time. We got you in there under the wire. A lot
Nailed
to
it.
bring to the table. Okay, Mike, where can people find you if they want to see more about what you're talking about?
Nowhere. Leave me alone. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm actually an introvert. Leave me alone.
I'm hiding.
I can hire the introverted
best place would be
coaches in this
Instagram.
group.
Yeah. Instagram would be on our Team Russo page. Team_Russo_ would be the best place to probably connect initially if somebody wanted to connect or whatever the reason might be. That would be the best spot for sure. Send me a DM and we'll take it from there, kind of thing.
Beautiful. And Jen, what about you?
I'm with Mike on this introvert. I'm going to say WhatsApp is probably one of the easiest way for me. Is just message me through WhatsApp or text me for my cell. We can maybe put that up at the end. I don't know. Those are, or email. Those are probably my easiest routes. Or come to the Newmarket office. I'm here every day, so you'll see me here as well if you want to chat face to face.
Beautiful. I'm going to go a little old school as well and do phone number 647-828-4165 and text, WhatsApp, voicemail, not actual phone conversations, but a good voicemail, a text, or a WhatsApp are all fantastic ways to reach me. And if you are an agent that's looking for some help with coaching, again, you can find us at any of the locations that we just said. We have calls every single morning, Monday to Friday, that you can jump on to help start your day. And if you want to talk about something beyond that, absolutely, we can help you there. We have something for everybody. We've got 2 different group programs and then individual coaching as well. And for all of you that are already with us, that are already with PSN coaching, and you need some more help, say you're in one of the group programs and you've been AWOL for a little bit, you haven't been doing the stuff that you need to do, reach out to us. Let us give you a kickstart and get you jumped off for the fall, because there's definitely money to be made out there, and we want to make sure that you're getting your unfair share of it. So thank you for tuning in, and we will see you this time next week. Bye for now.
Bye.